we are accepting applications for the summer 2012, and you would use the Aussie Solar System to apply for the externship that Dr. Bennett just spoke about. I'm going to just my plan was to kind of walk you through and emphasize the important aspects of the application and things you got to prepare for. There are a number of options in this, what they call the Aussie Launchpad. And it is at, if you look at the top, just intern.nasa.gov. And that'll bring you to this main page. This kind of launches you into various aspects. This top piece is one area that you can get information on. And then this first box, Student Opportunities and Recruitment Tools, is the other area that would
David, are you still on? It's
these have, I'll click on this. You can click on this also, and it gives a little 5-minute video, which I think is really important. And I'd like to play this 5-minute video, and then I'll go from there. I'll show you how you log in, register, and the aspects of the application that you'll be particularly interested in. But the letter of recommendation is an extremely important aspect of the application, and the reason is you can complete your application in 5, 10, or 20 or whatever minutes, but if you don't have a letter of recommendation, and I don't mean put a request for one, but if you don't get one back, you cannot apply to any opportunities. It you have an incomplete application in terms of the system, and you will be unable to go any further. So it's really important that you get that part of the process started, talk to someone who you're planning to ask to provide a letter on your behalf, and get that part of it going. So can everybody hear me and see my display here?
Yep, I can see you.
Okay, so everybody is able to see, because I'm going to go ahead and click this. You can go back and do this, but I want to put this on here because I think it's so relevant here.
Me popcorn. Oh, no, this one's so good. Too bad we had the last bite yesterday. Oh, yeah, right. Uh-oh. Another popcorn craving. Did someone have a bad day? Bad is an understatement. Let's just say we had another flying cheese incident. Ew. Tell you something sad? I've been working there for 3 years. The only person who's been there longer than me is my manager, Malcolm. Okay, I know what you're going to say. Do you really? Mackenzie, we've been over this before. I know, I've just been so busy. Wait, so you haven't even completed your checklist on Aussie Solar? Yes and no. Mackenzie, the application period for Aussie Solar closes in a month. I know, I've been meaning to get to it. Well, did you at least go through the checklist on Aussie Solar? Yes. Okay, and why haven't you submitted it? Well, that's the thing. I still need one more thing. What is it? It's my letter of recommendation. Are you serious? Mackenzie, that's the one item on the checklist that takes the longest to get done. It took me 3 me weeks to get my recommendation last year. No, I think I got it. So who are you going to ask?
Well, since I'm in such a time crunch, I'll get Malcolm to do it for me.
Malcolm? Malcolm is your manager at Winslow.
Malcolm's reliable.
Okay, don't get me wrong. I like Malcolm, but I think your letter should come from someone who knows you a little better.
You know, I was thinking the exact same thing. How about my mom? She can write it tomorrow, and then I'll be all done.
Unbelievable. Okay, someone who can speak on your academic and your professional experience. I mean, you're applying for an internship with NASA.
I see your point.
This is super important, Mackenzie. A good letter of recommendation can be the difference between getting the internship of your dreams or hanging out with Malcolm at Wings R Us all day.
You're right. I should be taking this more seriously. I hate Wings R Us.
Yeah, so who else can you think of?
Professor Billy!
You're right, Professor Billy. She'd be perfect.
She's been my math instructor for 3 semesters. She's my faculty advisor, and she nominated me for the Bill Gates Scholarship last year.
And surprisingly, you're never late for her class.
Yeah. Wait, how'd you know that?
Let's be real. It's the only time I've ever seen you up before 9 a.m. So when are you going to ask her?
Well, I have math tomorrow morning. Maybe I should ask her then.
Sounds like a plan.
So do I just go up to her and ask her?
That's usually how you ask people a question. But seriously, you need to prepare a student biography before you go to her.
A what?
A student biography. It's a... Why don't I just show you? So basically, it's a list of your major academic achievements, awards, activities, things like that. You know, so your recommender can refer to it as I write. You should also consider attaching your resume.
That is super smart, Ricky.
Well, last year, when I applied for a NASA internship opportunity, Dean Whitney wrote me a great letter of recommendation. She even complimented me on my student biography.
Wow. I'm even more impressed that you even thought of this.
Now, wait a minute. I'm not that smart. I got it from the AHEC website. They included it as part of their application supplement when they advertised for the One-Stop Shop initiative.
Neat. But you took the compliment from Dean Whitney anyway, didn't you?
I kind of did.
Yeah, you did. All right, so that should be easy. I'll work on my student biography and get Professor Billy to send the letter to NASA.
Send the letter as in post it?
I should give it to Sam. That would be such a nice touch.
Did you even read the information on Aussie Solar?
Yes. I know.
Mackenzie, once you submit a request for Professor Billy to write a letter of recommendation for you, she will then upload it on your interest profile.
Wait, what? I didn't know they could do that.
Yeah, and then from there, you can check it all out when she's done.
That is fancy.
That's technology. And if you really want to impress her, send her a thank you letter. There's your nice touch right there. So back to business. You have a student biography to fill out, and I have an American Indian Studies midterm I need to study for.
You mean right now?
Right now, Mackenzie.
Okay. I thought that would be helpful because that's probably one of the things, the letter of recommendation, that is often the last thing to get done that prevents a student from being able to really look at or apply to opportunities. And this is one of the things you'll want to be doing. Again, as I mentioned, this first box in the left, Student Opportunities and Recruitment Tools, is the one you want to focus on. The others are largely administrative type, and some of them aren't complete yet. But the first, where it says Launch here, this is where you're going to go. Okay, just click Launch, and it's going to bring you to this premiere of Aussie Solar. Now, one of the things you can do is, looking at these tabs at the top, you can search without registering, without being an applicant or anything. You can search what existing opportunities are. I'm not going to go there right now, but you can just click that and, you know, put any kind of search criteria and see what's there. If you are a first-time, if you've never used Solar before, you would go to first-time student users to register, okay, in which case it's going to prompt you to enter an email address and a password, which are very important because those will be the ones you use every time you log back in to perhaps add more, to complete your application, to request a letter of recommendation. But I have one account already, so I'm going to go ahead and just log in as a current student user. This is, if you used it last year, if you applied, your name is going to be in the system. You will already be a registered student. So that basically put your email address and password. And I'll sign in. Okay, so this is the main page. I am logged in as my wife in this case, and I used this last year to test different features. So basically, this getting started will take you. Let's see here. We go back to here. You can do this when we went to the premiere of Aussie Solar. The videos and tutorials, these are really important. These are very informative, I should say. These will give you a lot of information about registering and your profile and the application. And these kind of go in order. The last one is searching for and applying to opportunities. So these are some of the basics for students and mentors in the first video, and these are about 5 minutes long. The second one is registering and completing your profile and applications. And the third one is assuming you have a completed application. How do you apply to an opportunity? You can also get transcripts of these if you have a slower computer, and there are also PowerPoint presentation versions of these as well. Okay, let me see. I wanted to show, let's see if it, okay, my applications. Right now, this is for summer 2012. You see at the top an internship. You can also apply to scholarships. I wouldn't bother. Fellowships, there are very few of those in 2012. These are for graduate level students and higher. Graduate students can apply for internships as well. So the focus here will be on internships. And there are 6 components to every application. General information, your educational history, where you've gone to school, transcripts of those institutions, any work experience. Okay, so what kind of work have you done that you want to bring forward that may strengthen your application? And then in the fourth section is the one that I mentioned is vitally important, your letter of recommendation. And we'll go see that here in a minute. And then any skills, awards, NASA-affiliated education activities. And when those are complete, it'll show. Otherwise, it'll say incomplete. And these are complete because I used a copy of my application from last year, and I just updated it for summer 2012. However, notice the term of acceptance, I haven't completed that yet. So this is something I still need to do before I can apply to an opportunity. Okay. Again, you can take a look at these. These are very basic information. General information is your name, your address, email, that sort of thing. Your education history, as it implies, it's where you've gone to school. If you're a high school senior, you would put where you're going to high school, and also you have to have been accepted by the time you start, which is going to be June. You have to have been accepted into a college as a rising freshman. And then your basic work experience. This work experience could be in a prior internship, or maybe you've done work in a lab for one of your faculty members or what have you. So let's take a look at letter of recommendation. Okay. So give you some basic instructions. And for me, it shows that I have 2 letters of recommendation. One is completed, one is requested. As long as you have 1 completed letter of recommendation, that is, the letter was submitted by, your professor or whoever it is you requested send one in for you, it'll show completed. Otherwise, it shows that I requested a letter from John Taggett, but he has not responded yet. Okay, you'll find basic instructions. I think one of the things that's important to realize is, as the video implied, you need to ask preferably a professor, one of your instructors, teachers, to send a letter of recommendation on your behalf. And it's good to arm them with information about your accomplishments, achievements, and so forth, because that'll help them to write the appropriate letter on your behalf. Now I'm going to scroll down here, and you'll see this is how you officially request a letter. You put their first name, their last name. What is their relationship to you? Are they a teaching assistant or a professor or an employer? Not a good idea to put a parent or a friend, because they really, you're looking for someone who can vouch for you as your academic accomplishments, the type of student that you are. Their telephone number, vitally important, is their email address, because it's going to send your request to them at that email address. And then re-enter the email just to confirm it, and then save and send request. Or if you want to go to the next section, that is, this is section 4, you save and send request and continue. You can request as many letters of recommendation as you would like. In this case, I requested 2, but only received 1. 1 is all I need in which to apply to an opportunity. Now, piece of advice. If you know which opportunity or opportunities you plan to apply to, you may want to select a reference who can speak to your value to that opportunity. So if it is an externship, get a professor who can provide a recommendation of how fitting you would be for that externship. And they could cite the name and title of the opportunity specifically. If you're applying to more than one opportunity, you might consider having a letter for each one. The system only requires 1. You can have 1 generic letter that speaks to your academic accomplishments and abilities, a character reference, but you can have multiple. And you can see the value of having multiple letters, not knowing which one is going to get in there first. Okay, so read through this. It gives you, some instructions and advice on, who to ask and what to provide and so forth. Are there any questions on that? Okay. Let's see if I can go to search opportunities.
David, just a second. I think we have a question.
You hear me? Okay.
Go ahead, Volker.
Yeah. Hi, David. This is more a question about, from the view of somebody that would give a recommendation letter. So last year I had the situation where I was the GIS instructor at the externship now for several years.
Yeah.
And so last year I had to the situation where one student recommended or requested a letter from me, and he was applying for an internship, with NASA, which I, gave him, the requested letter, but he had also applied for the new externship, so because, and then for the letter, or in the letter, I cannot see what he applied for, so I felt kind of a little, because he had applied again for the same externship, and I was teaching still there, so that would have been a conflict of interest,
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, is that okay if if that happens again, if a student that was...
It is okay. Well, the reason is students can apply to up to 15 different opportunities, but they only need one letter of recommendation, which serves for all of them. So even though it may appear to be a conflict of interest for you writing a letter for an externship that you're providing, I would say that the student should have a second one for that. But for all the other opportunities the student may apply, yours will be a valid recommendation.
Okay, so I will let the student know for if he applies again for this program, then he should get another letter of recommendation from somebody else, too.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yep. Okay. Are there any other questions at this point? Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and just talk a little bit about searching for opportunities. And you can use this even if you don't have a registered account. When we first showed you the front end, I showed you a tab that allowed you to search. And you can search for opportunities there. You can search for opportunities inside your account. As it shows, the fourth tab is search opportunities. And I just thought it'd be worth showing you the kinds of information that you can use to search against. If you're a junior and you want to find opportunities you're eligible based on your grade level, you can enter from a freshman all the way through a doctoral. While I show this, I think it's important. In some places in Aussie Solar, it suggests that if you're a graduate student or higher, you're only eligible for fellowships. That's not the case, particularly at Goddard. We have doctoral students and graduate students applying for internships all the time. So even as an advanced student, you can apply for an internship. And we want to leave the search opportunity types. It would be an internship or a fellowship. We'll leave that as an internship. You can search for a specific center if you're looking for it, or we can leave that blank. Okay, so right now, I'm interested in seeing all opportunities, not ones from a specific center or a facility outside of one of the centers. I may be looking for just summer 2012, the opportunities that are eligible for summer 2012 session. I can put specific disciplines, or I can highlight all of those and move them over, which means I'm not looking for any opportunities based on disciplines or majors. You can put opportunities from a certain date. And let's say you've been in here 3 or 4 times and you looked at all the ones for November. Now you just want to look at the ones that have been entered in December. You can do that by specifying the date. For example, let's just say opportunities posted since December 1st. And let's say we want to find opportunities that have tribal. And anywhere, a keyword anywhere in the opportunity. Let's see if we find any. I don't know that we will at this point. No, there are not any. Let's just start over and see what we have without the keyword tribal. Okay, now if you scroll to the bottom, it tells you how many you found. Notice that it matched 34. There are 34 opportunities, and it's displaying the first 20. You can go here, the records per page, and you can increase them. If you want to show 30, or we can show all of them, all 34. Okay? And then we can scroll down and see, you know, the first one's Glenn. There's another Glenn. Goddard Institute of Space Science. Rutgers. Okay? And Wallops and so forth. So the center column is basically showing you the location. Okay? And then you could, if we wanted to look at enhanced spaceflight dynamics, formation flying, we could view that. And it tells you the title and a description of what the student will do. Any expected outcomes and what grade levels and so forth. Notice it doesn't take a junior. I just put it eligible for juniors. This does have what disciplines they're looking for and the location. Okay? So, and once you have a completed application, which I do not, I could actually save this into a temporary queue if this is one that I think I might like to apply to later. My opportunities, it shows there are none. Obviously, I don't have a completed opportunity, so I do not have any opportunities that I applied to. Or, notice the second section, my opportunities of interest. Once I complete my application, I can save opportunities that I don't want to apply to yet, but I want to keep track of them in this my opportunities of interest box. When you get further along, notice on the bottom here is my opportunities and my offers. If you get an official offer from a mentor, this is where you're going to see it. I don't think it's, I have no offers here. But it'll show the offer, and the student will be prompted to either accept or decline it. Students will have up to 5 business days in which to accept it, or it by default expires. And notice it does show the expiration date. Students will get an email to their registered email address when they do get an offer saying that they have an offer, so that then they can log in and accept it through their Solar account. Okay, well, I want to just show you real quick the student profile. And this is where basically some of the search criteria defaults from. Well, what grade level are you? Are you interested in a fellowship or an internship? Are you interested in a particular center? And notice when I did my first search, it came up by default with Goddard. It's because my profile is set up for Goddard. And you can, in your profile, set for summer 2012 if you're interested in the summer 2012. And again, if there are particular areas of interest, you can set those up in your interest profile. Enter keywords for opportunities you're interested in. Okay, you would enter that information here. And then if you want to receive emails when a new opportunity is entered that matches your profile, you can have it do it on a periodic basis, daily, weekly, monthly, or none. I always recommend using daily. That way you'll get an email saying, hey, you know, an opportunity was just submitted that looks like one you'd be interested in. You should go check it out. Okay, so that completes what I wanted to go over here. And I don't think we want to go too much longer. But this gives you the basics of completing an application in Aussie Solar. Are there any questions? Can you hear me okay?
Does anybody have any questions?
I don't.
Okay, well, I hope you found this helpful. I'll give you my phone number. I mean, if you have any questions, you're always feel free to give me a call or send me an email. My phone number is area code 301-286-0904. And my email address is david.middle initial j.rossage, ROSAGE, at nasa.gov.
Thank you very much for that information. It was very helpful.
Okay. Were you able to record that?
I was.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any questions for David? Al, are you still on? Okay, looks like Al is gone. So we can go ahead, and I just want to reiterate, thank you very much, David, for that information. That was great. But I just wanted to remind everyone, as David said, the application deadline is February 1st, 2011, or 2012, I'm sorry. It's extremely important that your application is completed and your letter of recommendation is completed by this deadline. Offers will begin February 2nd, 2011. So it's really important to make sure that you start early so that if you have any problems or there's any difficulties, you're not coming up on that deadline and you're not able to finish. If you want to apply for anything in the NASA Solar site, you have to have things completed by that. Like we said before, you need to have all 6 sections complete, and you must have at least one letter of recommendation on file by the February 1st, 2012 deadline. Are there any more questions, comments? Anybody? If you have any questions or you need assistance or you just maybe need some help with who you could apply to or how to find applications, you can feel free to contact me here at Kiksapa. We've already sent out Dave Rossage's information. You could contact him. And I know that Al Kushlikis at AHEC is also available to assist you or your students through this process as necessary. Okay, with that, seeing we have no questions, we want to thank you for tuning in. We once again apologize for our technical difficulties. We hope this was informative for you, and look for a couple of other notes or advertisements for webinars in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.